Okay, see if this works. Okay. Because I'm gonna be playing with like a whole bunch of different programs, so there'll be a chance of maybe a crash, but I just want to preempt it that that could potentially happen. So in case of that, either we can go to downtime or I can. Yeah, well, I guess there's no way to not have downtime when everything's not working. But welcome. Just got a little scared about that, but it should be good. We should have a fun time. Let's see if we make any progress. But anyway, welcome. Hi guys. We're back. We're back to me sitting down with Flash, and we're gonna be doing this. Let's start out with Blender actually. As you can see that the Blender renders are turning out a little bit better than last time. Been working really hard to get the Blender 3D. This is actually 3D. I'm really happy how this is looking. That it's like, it's just how I want it to look. I'm gonna see if I can reset that chat. Refresh. Let's see if that works. Okay. Oof. Yeah, this is actually 3D, so I can actually move this around. The weird windows are just weird transparency things, but everything's actually works really well. So I've been working on this for quite a while, but yeah, I'm really happy how this is actually turned out. Better than my older versions or my first couple tries. Now there's been a couple tries doing this, but how you guys doing? Hi Night Star, how you doing? Hi Cookie. Ooh, hi Commenter. Everyone's here. Did it work yet? I could try again with doing the pop out chat thingy that I do. But yeah, this has been we're gonna try and see if we can animate a new shot in Blender 3D. Otherwise, we'll see if how much we can really get done on here. I can go back to like where we were last time with the first version of this. So like, remember what these colors are right now, and then I'll get this older stream that I had. This was only like a month ago, and this is what the render looked like. It so what I was trying to do, I'm gonna get very technical with this. If the chat's not working, I can just get rid of it. Fortunately, if that's not gonna cooperate. But YouTube chats just should still work. It's just not gonna be working as I thought it would. But yeah, this is from only a month ago. This is what it looked like. So what I was trying to do with this was trying to actually have environmental lights into this. So having like actual spotlights, and then trying to figure out like how to make it so that the shadows don't like happen. A little bit small here, but there's like a ambient occlusion where there's a shadow underneath its own self practically. So because I have like an actual light in the environment, the shadows are actually in there too. So that's not quite exactly what I wanted. So I looked up a lot more tutorials and figured out different lighting techniques. So now I'm able to get a render that looks practically like my Flash version, where it should be basically color correct between like this orange and these yellows, and everything here should be the same as that. So that took a lot of doing and a lot of playing around, and I'm really happy about how that really turns out. So all right, thank you guys. I can sort of explain how this works, but I think I'm already alienating you just by how complicated this already is. So I used a HDRI image. I don't know if I can get in. Oh yeah, I have to go into shading. It's been a while. I haven't used Blender in an easy sec. So I'm using a plugin for HDRI. You can use HDRIs already. That's high dynamic range image. So that allows me to add like special like 360-degree like environmental lighting things. So it's like this 360-degree sphere that has information, and based on math, I guess it can figure out like here's the sun in this picture, and then figure that out, and based on like colors and hues and everything, figure out like how to light the scene inside here. So essentially what I did with this is that I used that HDRI picture and then just said, let's go to world. There we go. Already got into nodes. Look how quick we got into here. Before I get too into here. It's very technical already. But look at all these fun little nodes. It's images. There you go. I'm gonna go PS5 on you. So here we got some texture coordinates and mapping. So they're just saying like different like vectors and points for, I think this triangle is the camera itself. There we go. So it's saying like all these different things of what kind of lighting is essentially trying to say it. That's what all these weird boxes are trying to calculate. I was just playing around with this, and it didn't look like this initially. If I turn this up, it should maybe change somewhat. Maybe it's in here. It's very slight. Okay. Here's the factor. You have to turn the factor up in saturation. But anyway, it was saying, come on. It's not showing it justice. But it was, I think it's because it's not able to render it. If I add a thing and then add this in. Anyway, it figured out from just playing around with this and turning all these down, essentially, it went to like basically to white. Let's see if I can load a different image. Load image. Reset. Should be using this picture. Doesn't seem to be. That's weird. As I said, like I haven't been using this much. Factor. How do I say I want to look at it? Load image. It's not doing it. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. Anyway, but that was the one trick to be able to change it from what I showed you earlier with the using actual lights in the scene. Actually, we're very dark, and just trying to make it actually even was actually really hard with all that. But using the HDRI was able to save this and be able to get color correct and everything here. What I was trying to show was that when you use different pictures, like I tried to show you with the these really small pictures here, I downloaded a bunch of these before I realized that, oh wait, if I want it to be like simple and actually have no real information, it's just like basic, I would just have to create my own HDRI. So I just made a Photoshop file where you can essentially just actually make an HDRI file extension. So that made that really easy. So I just made this essentially just a rectangle, essentially that, just a white rectangle, have it act as if it's an HDRI, and then plug it into here, and then it says, well, there's no actual lighting information from this, so it kind of just makes it as a default. But all this other extra node stuff is just from the easy HDRI plugin. So that allows me to not actually have, there's no virtual lights in here. The lighting is actually from basically using all the information from here, which is actually nothing. So that's what that's saying. That's how I got better lighting, which actually remembers not actually going for a realistic, woo, fancy subway, dark, you know, perfect lighting, everything here. But just like I want it to be flat, want it to be color correct, and no shadows. So I think there's even a thing for like if there were lights, I'd be able to have a little button here for lights. Like if I click on a camera, there's a camera button So there would have been one for in lights, and I'd be able to say, hey, don't add any shadows or anything. So, um, but anyway, just trying to explain that because that's been the biggest thing. That's been a biggest like revolution or whatever to this so far. Here's a white dot. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that white dot is. Is that the... Oh, it's gone. Okay. Also, there's no sky. But anyway, the train up here is because it's for the actual animation. Wanted it to be inside, but also have it still exist somewhere, so I don't always have it. But yeah. All right. Okay. Do any backgrounds in the film Animate? Yes, sorta. Well, I have these trees. I just have these trees. Let's go to a simpler view. This is more like what we saw with the last month version, is that it was basically creating lights, and it was just not being exactly what I wanted. So, but as we see, like these trees here are moving. I think it just needs to like render it once, and then it can be quicker. But everything else is like through the camera to be able to animate it. I could add like more props or bushes or anything else, but because I knew in this shot the camera would move itself, so I didn't really need to animate everything else much more. So I could have. So but it'd just be like barely anyway. So I don't know. I'll probably do that too. But anyway, let's see. So I animated the door open, and then obviously the camera moves, and all these other like ponies are actually PNG sequences. So these are straight from Flash. They're just flat, which is thankfully perfect for my Paper Mario style. Everything just works. I wanted a Paper Mario movie, and it's like I want to like have a very stylized and 3D environment, so it's like it's perfect. It's like they're flat. It's okay. And having these low poly, models, everything works with the video game aesthetic as well. But these are straight from Flash. These are essentially my animations, just carried over. What is his name? Shady Days. So essentially they're just all squares that just have the information inside of it. But then they just have, the information is the picture, which has a transparency filter on top of it with alpha, which is also kind of tricky to do in Blender. But anyway, those existing, most of the ones with like clothes, I think I made. Like obviously the flower one is, I think, a recolor of like Golden Harvest or something. Also, what you're not seeing is that there's Derpy is here, and then Berry Punch is on a couch over here. If I go back to Flash, yeah, that's where I go. So I'm trying to mimic this with the Blender, but just have it in camera at a different angle, sidely going this way into it. So everything should still look hopefully the same. The background itself here in this one is actually interesting because I also took in Blender took a picture, like a screenshot, put it into Flash, and then traced it over, so it made it blend that even more. So I go inside here, like each of these are using not one. Let's use using Flash now. I can use my go back and forth is a little bit tricky between programs, but essentially this animation I think is basically what I used in the Blender version. So I'm able to take these exact animation and then put them inside of exactly like a plane, a rectangle with no depth, and then whatever's inside it animates. So that makes really helpful with that. Part 1 was in top 10. Yeah, That was impressive. I'm always like saying like, oh, it's because there's not abundance of content as much anymore, you know, from like years past, as like everyone's moving on. But I'm still here with my 2017 script, trying to get this going. So I'm just trying to blur the line between like 2D and 3D with this. If you recognize this camera movement, it's because I decided like, hey, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be cooler if it was actually done in 3D? So a lot of this stuff was actually animated before I even added the characters into it. So that's why the characters are not in here. A lot of the design, like this door is a little bit different. So many other stuff. Doesn't have the lanterns. But it's the same shot that I just figured out, like, essentially just timed out and said, like, oh, well, this shot starts at this frame, and then from here to here, time all these, like, keyframes at the bottom here, and then door opens. So, so I just redid it with this, and it's like, hey, because I wanted the little seats to have the perspective, whatever you want to call it. Where as it moves, you can see like the perspective of everything being perfect instead of having to do it myself of figuring out everything. Which I've done a couple times before. Trying to get this interesting like faux 3D with 2D stuff, and it's just like I animated like most of this whole part. I probably won't show the whole thing. But it's just been kind of going back, you know, animated like this like months to almost a year ago with this, and just saying like, ah, that's good. I'll add the background ponies later because I knew I wouldn't be doing it, you know, immediately. I wanted to get like the core stuff of like who's my main actors would be Derpy, and then we'll see the snakes come in. So I didn't need to have the background ponies or figure that out until very recently. So that's why they're now all here in the 3D version. So just kind of like staggered them so they're not all in a line as well. Makes it a little bit easier, I mean this one, to see that they're trying to sit, but if you zoom in too much, the some of the resolution shows. But if you just kind of just zoom out, then it works. But will outlive all of the content creators. I hope so. Because this is probably going to take quite a while for this particular project. Especially if I'm trying to learn everything else. Like I guess I'm more of a 2D animator where I like to draw more, or at least animate with puppets more. So like animating in 3D is like completely different. It's just been real learning curve of that to figure out how that whole pipeline, the pipeline is very different. Or at least the way that I'm making the pipeline work is a little bit different than how Blender users would make it. Because instead of, I'm just substituting a lot of the grunt work of 3D modeling and characters. A bunch of the characters in animation are all pretty much set in through Flash. Like all this animation is not hand animated in Blender. They're planes that have the Flash pictures inside of it. So it's a PNG sequence. So I think once I kind of figured out how to describe that enough that we kind of got this set up that I can animate the next shot. So the next shot will be, I have not animated this in Blender yet, so we'll have to make a new Blender shot, and then we'll animate this where Snake is revealed and goes Zzzz, and then walks out. So we'll see how far we get in this today. I know that I spent 20 minutes just talking about that, but I'll probably just get through here pretty quick and just like say like, oh well, let me just clean this up so this looks a little better. Otherwise I'll get going on it. I'll just clean up these lines because I'm that adamant about it. But yeah, how you guys doing? Because this might take a hot second to get through all these frames here and figure out like all the weird anomalies that are going on here. Not even sure what's going on. I think there's extra parts or something. But yeah, how you guys doing? It's a good time. hang out with you guys. Wanted to get that look pretty okay. Okay. Hi guys. Hi Badra. We can see if the chat works. Chat. Where is it? Chat. Let's see. Oh, that's working. Yay! All right. Need to let it breathe for a bit. Some of these lines. Yeah. Maybe if I just kind of connect them, because if there's less lines, then there'd be less things to overlap. You know? This might work a little better if they were actually a little better. Might be the, I don't know what you call it, like the butt end of a line. That might be causing some issues, or maybe just Flash. How that works. I'll try to do it as quick as I can. Stop. Connect. So many little bumps. That's the wrong bump. Let's get rid of that. See which ones are necessary, and then just move these around maybe. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hard out of final student room, of course. Uni's pretty quiet. Yeah. I hear ya. Thankfully, I've been out of uni for a couple years, so mostly just been able to focus on my hobby, I guess, because it's not really exactly a paycheck type job with this. That haven't really paid the government in my life, at least for taxes. So I don't know what that meant. But yeah, it's been a fun ride doing this. I do enjoy it, but it's just been, yeah. Reality starts to sink in at some point, you know. And it's like, what am I doing? Like, should I be moving on? Getting existential with this. Just trying to animate a snake walk. What am I doing? Just thinking about, what am I doing with my life? Okay. I'm just setting the caps. That's what it's called. The caps are the butt of the line. So when you have a line, the end point can be like a square like this, or it can be rounded. So that's more of a circle, whereas the other one was more of a square. So I like the more rectangle butts, caps. They're more pointy and just make it look more, it feels like it's more professional-ish. At least to me, it feels cleaner when it's a point rather than if I get these two and change it to a curve. It's still a point. So that's interesting. Maybe it's the other cap. Oh yeah, here we go. That's like this kind of like edge or like point is supposed to be more. Like I want it to be like an actual triangle end point. So I have to like click here and then change the cap to there, and there we go. So it makes it like a point. Whoop 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 whoop. So I wanted to clean that up a little bit. There we go. Zip. So one option is just to like, as a demonstration, just to go through it, or yeah, it might make more sense. To do it like that. The other option would be to make this perfect and then not show you the actual other pipeline 3D Blender part of it. Thankfully I put it so it's like I moved the snake on the outer layer, so the actual box, if we pretended like it's Blender again, I'm gonna move the box on the outer layer, while if I go inside it, where I can actually click on different things on its sub level, then it doesn't move back and forth, or it doesn't walk in or out. So that helps with that, on that aspect of not having to worry about if the actual character inside moves, how easy is that to change to speed later on in terms of distance and speed, but whatever. Looks like the chat's going good, pretty good right now. But anyway, just thinking, I need to get rid of the shadow because the shadow only works in 2D, really. I can kind of show you how it would not work. What is it? Guide. And when we get into 3D, it's gonna be like, like a separate plane that's like behind her, and then if you kind of move the camera even a bit, then it's like, oh, it like ruins the illusion of a shadow. Is that it's supposed to be perpendicular? It's supposed to be a flat, perpendicular, no, parallel. The shadow is supposed to be parallel to the floor, so when you have it perpendicular, and then if you move the camera a little bit, and then it's like, that doesn't seem right. So I have to like have a separate shadow picture to essentially have a shadow. So it gets complicated with that as well. Thinking about these weird things of how shadows even work. So I'm gonna make a PG sequence. So I'm gonna add a new folder. This will be train reveal. Open, walk in. Okay, so let's not make it 5,000 width. Let's make it like 1080 and see how that works. It's 156 frames. That's probably longer than we probably want it to be. So it probably ends like right about there. How long? It's probably up to here. So I don't need these frames afterward. So I can just get rid of them before I make it have to render all those as well. So it'll be roughly the same length and time as this version, because I'm pretty happy with the timing of this. But we'll see if we need to change it later. Because I can make it exactly how this is working. But I think if this starts at 1, good. And then everything else should be from there. Just trying to make sure I count my eggs here. Okay. So now I can do that. Now that I see that, it'll be there. So it'll be all walk in. Will be good. Change it back to 1080. 120 frames. 32-bit. Smooth. I don't know how smooth really works, but it's PG sequence, so it's gonna take into account the alpha in here. So let's get it load up for a little bit. So how we doing? This is the simple part, is the 2D animation. Yeah, because once we get that going, yep. Hold on. So this is one shot, so I probably want to. One thing is to maybe, because I know that these are actually shots that are right after each other. So this happens and then Kyle walks in. So essentially it's like the door opens, and then we get a closer shot up, and then the same like, whoa, it's a snake, and then that happens. So I could animate it after here, but this shot is already pretty long, and if I want to change anything into any of it, I would have to render the entire thing. Rather, if I split it up, then I don't have to worry about that kind of an issue. So I'm gonna have to, if I want to keep everything, I can save as, and then say snake reveal part 2. I don't know. And then put it into here. Blender, save as. Okay. So now I got snake reveal part 2. So now we'll just have to change everything that we got. We'll have to go into animation and then get complicated. So let's see how I do this. So I can grab these, put them out to frame 1. Grab these and delete them. Delete keyframes. So now we start here. We got start afresh here. Camera's there. Let's go to layout. Have key on. Animations. Now anything that I change, it'll change the delta, whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. But I can change about the position to match the framing of here. Just like Smash. Smash Bros, yeah. Or I can even like have a woof or something out of it. I don't know. So this is like a close up to there. The angle is about there. Okay. So probably want to get it a little closer, a little down. That's not down. It's a little closer to here. Rotate it. Let's make that 90. Do a Dutch angle. I'm not very good at the XYZs, really. Especially because it like changes. Anyway, so well, the X isn't always like wherever you are. Essentially, it just feels like it's always like world location. I might wanna. Well, the door also has to be open. So we'll grab these, put them at the front. Grab these, delete them. So now we're back to where that is. Get the camera again. So I'm just gonna set this up pretty, not very cleanly. So this is how I usually do it, where it's just like, oh, that axis isn't right, so let's change it. So yeah, please bear with me with that. It's like even like when modeling, it's like I'm not 100% sure how which one does what, even if it's like, you know, way later. It's like, oh, that's not it. Probably want to make it more flat, so probably want to put it over there. So it look down a little bit. Yeah, this is more closer to what we have here. Trying to match this composition. So that's looking pretty. That's looking closer. Let's make it a little bit lower. Because we're just trying to only show like the bottom of them. So let's actually go back. Let's actually add. Probably don't need these other ponies, but we'll keep them in for fun. Subspace. Oh, I love subspace. Let's add Shift S cursor to world origin. I don't know where world origin is. There we go. Nope, that's that. Give me there. Let's shift a mesh plane. I'm sure there's different ways to do this. If I had to input this, got to input picture as a thingy. Let's see here. Need to take off thingies. Boopity boop. Hello, trash. Let's get rid of things. Keyframes. Still need those. I think one of these will work. Put it to 90. Okay. So, this is going to be a snake, so just hang on. So we go to shading. Find it. Let's go to object. So we're going to add a new shading material. There it is. So here's my, it's pretty simple. It's essentially the same kind of like node system that I kind of showed you, but it just has other types of values, parameters and stuff. I'm gonna add an image texture because it's a PNG sequence. Add it to the color. It's gonna make it black. Open image PNG sequences. Train reveal. Take this. Take everything, all of our 120 frames, because it's a fairly large thing, and there we go. So now we got that. It's a PNG sequence because it knows that. We're gonna do auto refresh. So look, side click, linear. Let's good. Flat. This is definitely a flat. Repeat. Image sequence. There we go. So it start frame 1, frames 120, and all that. Good. I'll be noticing that it's black background. The other characters don't have that. So we're gonna fix that. How long does it take to make a single video? With this type, it apparently took the first part in a way took with the prologue. That one took like a couple years, but that was just on and off. With a regular like Derpy video, that usually is like 3 to 4 weeks, probably 4 or 5, mostly 3, 4, 5. With this, I'm not sure how. Is that right? I think so. And then mix. That's right. Okay. Then we also have to set this. Hang on. How to get this to be. This is a secret thing. Is that you gotta go back into here, and then say shadow mode off a clip. Usually takes quite a while. I forget how to do this. I'm just gonna cheat. Color goes to base color. Alpha goes to factor. Alpha goes to factor. BSDF goes to factor or shader. Take this out. BSDF goes to bottom shader. Shader goes to output. And that's how you make it transparent. So okay. So now we can just play with this now. And if we go to animation or whatever, it'll animate in any of the thingies. But so now we got the animation of Snake doing that. So there we go. But I would say like with this style, I'm not sure. I haven't done actual Blender animation in any of my other videos. I think it would just be dependent on how quick I get the assets. Because usually the animation is obviously quicker because I was able to just clean up what I had before. But obviously this animation itself is going to be fairly just moving the camera and then that'd be it. Yeah, to link the time, running time, and the complexity, it will definitely tell me how long it'll take. So let's flip this 90, 180. You gotta learn how to do math. That's one of the big things in here. So we can kind of put her like actually where she would be. I love this. It's like it actually allows me to like have more freedom in some ways. That it's like, oh, it's like I wanted her to actually be layered in between these different things, and it's like I was gonna like figure out in Flash like, oh well, I have to separate these two parts of these. This wall here and this wall here has to be separate. This ground has to be completely different, and it's like nope, I could just literally just model out so it's wide enough, and then kind of put her where she would be in reality, and it's like, this is so cool. Because I'm not really, I've done 3D before, I've mentioned a couple times on here, but it's just been mostly just like classwork or something, so it's been not exactly my, you know, like, I'm gonna do this kind of an animation. It's just been playing around, experimenting more than actually like honing in and saying like, I'm gonna do this more of a thing. I'm going to move it down a bit so that we just see. Let's not know where she is. I can just put this down a little bit. Let's put these back under keyframes. Gotta change it back to auto keyframe. Of that. So now it should keep it to effect these. So Snake actually comes in. So there we go. 2 weeks or 2 months. Vids less than 30 seconds. Yeah. With the stream things, yeah. With the live stream things, they can be quite a lot more or not. Let's go solid, just so I can have a floor with this one. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back and forth between Flash version and then Blender. So we'll see how long this takes. There's not too much. Only as amount as whoop whoop Whoop. Okay, so the camera goes only from here to here. So that's all we really have to animate. And then just making sure that the snake moves during that time as well. So I might have to get a calculator just because I'm not going to be playing around with these numbers. So we could do this in order. That might be more fun. So probably going to hate me just going back and forth with numbers of 551. And we're going to remember 516 is going to be our base. So 516. It's going to be 35. So I'm going to use the same timing just because it's probably easier. So that was 35. So we go 35 into here. And then we say snake. It is a plane, so I'm going to change this to snake here. So, okay. So I'm going to add a keyframe of it moving the other way. So it'll get into position, and it should tween. So whoop, whoop, whoop. Kind of see it behind her? Yeah, there you go. There we go. So that's about right. Compositionally, right about. Could add her more center. Could add more speed into that thing. I think it might have some interpolation with the normalize. Let's make the key a ease out. Let's see if that changes anything. I'm gonna change this to there. So you can see like the ease out is a little bit strong there. But it's just gonna be playing around with that. So once we kind of get the base of it, then it'll just be getting the rest of it done. So okay. So then here, so it's gonna be 561 minus 516. Why can't I get to that? 45. So camera, meta, camera. Let's get a keyframe everything here so it stays still. And then from here to here. I'm not going to count that. 572 minus 516, 56. So from here to 56. Is that right? That seems like a long time, but okay. Keyframe everything. And then we just got to do the same action that this does. So up in the blue axis. There we go. So we got here is walk in, camera up, do the thing, and then she walks out. Okay, so we're nearly there. Womp, womp. So that's when we have more here for the actual zoom out. Looks like we could zoom in a little bit. Let's get this snake, maybe the motion to be more centered. And then, yeah, so he's gonna be playing around with this just to get this all going good. I think it's pretty good. So what's next? We need to add the zoom out here. I think I timed it out. 56? No, that's right at. Because it's 582 now. So 581 minus 516, 65. So 65, add keyframes to camera. And then, end of this is a couple frames later, but I don't know. 586 minus 516, 70. Go to 70 here. Keyframe. Probably don't have to keyframe everything, but it just adds more flexibility in case I need to change anything. Like if, oh, I didn't like that, you know, Y movement. It's like, oh, I could just have it now be as well as. See, I'm also changing very little things here. Womp. Okay. There's a lot of math. There's a lot more math in Blender Or at least in 3D than 2D. At least I feel like I've, you know, mostly just like animate a character. You don't really think about, is this on frame 54 or 56? But with this, it's just kind of translating these numbers into the other medium. So I'm just making sure it's the same stuff. So there we go. And then the camera stays the same, and then the only thing that changes now is that from frame 618 minus 516 is 102. Probably could have told that just by the animation of... no, where did you go? Can I click it? Oh, that kind of works. Yay, okay. Get everything. And then, It's definitely more math in 3D. Yeah. 2D be very straightforward depending on the software for today. Really need to count. I know. I've been watching a lot of like tutorials and stuff, and it's like a lot of them are like, I'm gonna do a walk cycle, and it's like, here's how to do a walk cycle, and it's like, I'm gonna do it, you know, here's this amount of frames to do this, and it's like breaking it down, and it's like you could just like do like operations, you know. It was really weird of how they like set it up of like, okay, so this, like, figuring out the math of it without really saying like, oh well, here's how it's usually why walk cycles are 24 frames, but it's just like, here's plant and then move up and then down and then slide back, and that somehow equals 24. So I was like, well, now you need to do like what essentially you're supposed to, you know, what he was trying to say but didn't actually say was like, oh, to do that twice, you know, in half of it would be like to do, you know, like 12 and 12 would just be easier to say, but it's just like, why'd you make it weird and complicated by doing it in a different wording? But whatever. I'm just not gonna... Just gotta make it simple and just say 3, 6, 5 minus 5, 16, and then 119, move on, kind of thing. I'm gonna go to 1... Where am I? I don't even know where I am. What frame is this? Why doesn't it tell me in the animation thing of what frame it's on? Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't know. I guess we're like the default, like, that kind of thing. Where if it's back, and then up, and then down, and then slide, that's like 4 things. So if each of those take them out, then, yeah. But I essentially know, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's a whole thing of the Animator Survival Kit, is that every walk is different, where you spend like 100 pages explaining that. And I need to, yeah, okay, I've only had her like get eyeball out. So I can do the same thing. Let's see if we can, red arrow. Yeah, okay, it's a little bit less. So I can have it be exactly the same. Then we can have, how do I set the regular, so frame in at 120. So there we go. So this is what we got so far. It's a little bit slow. It has to like render and probably do streaming as well. And it's just like not gonna work. As well as the background characters will also need to be animated, but okay, the ending thing will probably need to be a little adjusted. Stop. But that's how you get the gist of it, and then it just be like tweaking every little thing to make sure that it works. But yeah, that's kind of how this works, where it's just been get everything set up in 2D, plan it out as much as you can, and if you decide to make a 2D thing into 3D, that makes it a little bit simpler, where you can just essentially do this, where it's just figuring out like, here's these specific frames that I want to hit, and then translate it into whatever this is. So, it's hard on snakes because it'd be cool or because it'd be easier to animate. Well, I was trying to, I think the initial idea was that, yeah, it was going to be actually story related, because I wanted it to be snakes versus mongooses. Because no, that's the age-old like battle with that, where it's the mongooses versus snakes. Because I don't know, I doubt if like Pokemon there was like one scene where, I guess just the whole thing was Zangooses versus vipers or something. So it's just like I want to do something like that, and then I guess it's like by doing it mongooses that'd be a little bit trickier to animate. So it's like I made the snakes more important to the plot. So haha. But yeah, it's been like that. I think that was the main reason with that. I think it was just easier, easier in some ways, but I think at the time, like, yeah, I was more hesitant to do like walk cycles. That's why I was more happy that like I chose Derpy as the mascot. That was like, oh well, she doesn't have. We gotta ease it to be ease in. So just get it start slow and go whoop. Let's go to wireframe. Whoop. Because that's easier to see some things. But yeah, a little bit of both, but not really. It's more just being cool rather than. Because I think the first time I wanted to like animate snakes, I like look at a lot of different references and stuff, and like try to figure out like 3D references for snakes, and it's just like that's fairly complicated. So I'm just making it like more of a like an either like an inchworm or some kind of like wobble wave form instead. So interpolation, let's make it linear. See how that works. That kind of works better. I'm sure there's I don't know how to get to that graph mode where you can see like that weird sine waves and curves and everything. So I kind of just do about this. And it's like, oh, these kind of work for a lot of things. We could make this linear. Yeah, I think it needs to ease out. Yeah, and then up, and then out, and then whoop. So yeah, we can just keep adding more different things into it. I know this is weird to look at. There you go. So might have to add a delta to like the scale. Let's see. I think the scale needs to like delete. Make sure with that. Delete keyframes for scale, and then I can change her scale with this. Because I feel like it's weird. It needs to be a little bit more wide. I'm gonna go to the scale and see which one. That one. Good. See about there. About. Usually, I like when I like set up these other characters, I would like move like one character over and then move not that move the character over, see if their head size is the same, and then put them back over there. So that's kind of how that works with that. But yeah, we're about on time, and I think the only thing that I would probably add would just be adding more keyframes or showing more things like this. Maybe to the camera to like make it exactly the same where it has these extra bounces. But if I added these bounces before, like it had a perfect clear, like if one of these was like wrong in 3 dimensions, then it's like adding polish into that would be a waste of time. So to get this also good here too. But yeah, I think it's about pretty good with that. Any other I noticed questions probably, so I'll probably take a couple of those while I'm still inside of here before we go into torso time. Like any kind of technical things you think? Anything else you'd like to see? Because this zoom out is pretty weird. I guess I can see if the shading with the not sculpting, shading. The shading with the world object. I'll see if I can get the picture. Get those loaded in. That was the only thing that was weird. Let's see. Hello. Don't understand? Yeah, it's okay. I knew it was gonna be tricky to understand, but oh, there we go. I had to click that. Let's see if these work. It's loaded in. It's got that. Load the image. That's quick, elemental. But anyway, you can kind of see through these different like things is that I chose a couple that would be very, very varied. So I can see it. I'm gonna open another one. Let's hang on, and then I'll open a new file. Let's see, open, let's try open castle v1 and then see if that one has it. Easy issue, right? Load in. You know, it doesn't. That's weird. I can kind of show this. This is fun. This is like a mock-up, like a weird thing, just to test it out to see like if I can model things. If these like work, then you'll be able to see like the actual lighting being different. Maybe that still exists in here? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it's not showing up. Usually it works. So I won't have this problem. Anyway. Sketch ranks, tint. So there's a lot of like little different values that would change the lighting of it. That's different. Oh, I changed the sky strength. So that works. So if you want it to be nighttime, you can do that. But it's really cool. You can look up different videos for that to see like sort of what I'm trying to do here. But it would like take images like these 360-degree pictures and then say where the light sources are coming from and the tint and the intensity of it. So then you could just plug it in and then it would show up as if you were in that environment. If you're sitting in an environment, where would the light and direction hit you? Or where is the lighting coming from? So it makes it easy in that way where you can have, yeah, I guess it's sort of helpful for live action cross 3D animation. So if you have like a 360 view of on set, like of live action, if live action movie needed a 3D character, you could have someone take a 360-degree picture of the set at the time of when it was recorded, so you get the right lighting for when that when the filming happened. Then you can go into like a 3D software and then plug in that information, and then you won't have to set up and, you know, figure out like, oh, here's a nice light here, put that in. It's like, oh, I need to figure out like how how issues are gonna set up each individual light to be perfect to match up, kind of a thing. No. I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm sorry that this isn't working. Because it's pretty cool, where it changes basically to just like the tint and colors and stuff. Yeah. Sorry that this isn't working. Not sure why. There's so many other things here that I'm not even sure. Oh, that happened. Oh! Oh, there we go. That worked. Okay. Let's set this back up to here. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That worked. So I can zoom in. Let's get out of camera mode. I think this one is Snowy Park. So there we go. Okay. I had to set up the gamma to be... That was the thing, yeah. Is that it? I figured out to make it, like, stop working, or to make it have a clean slate, it's to set the gamma to be 0. And then you would get that. So if you just kind of have it at 1, it should be neutral. There we go. Okay. Sorry. So I can get this to look bigger. Can I get this picture? You can kind of see it, but it's like this sunrise kind of a picture. So it's has the I added like I pointed at it. I added like a shiny object with this flame thing on this castle, so you can see like where the directional light is coming from, as well as this background, so you can kind of see like how that's also hitting it as well. So each of these different pictures are different environments at different times of day. So depending on where the sun is and how saturated or unsaturated it is, we'll set up that. So one of my initial things was like, hey, I have these pictures, let me just get a whole bunch of them and then flip through them and set the values up and then see which one will work. I'm going to take chat out. see which of these will work, and then say, hey, this is sort of close to what I want, but maybe I can like sit, hit with these different values and see which of these will work. So I just downloaded a whole bunch of these to see which of these will work. But then I figured out, like, well, I started playing around with all these different values at the bottom, and then I just set the gamma to 0, and it's like just made everything like turn it off, essentially. It just made everything flat, and then no shines or textures or anything. It's just like, huh, that's actually what I wanted. So I downloaded all these like high quality, like, like professional, like photography pictures, and it's just like, oh, whoops, what all this is just saying is that I can, what I wanted at the end, and what I wanted was a white rectangle. So all these are, this is why it's cool, because it's actually taking into account all these different values of the picture. So like if you had like this picture as like the background, I'm not sure how to set that up. Trying to set up so like the background here would be the picture. I don't know how to do that. There's not enough things here to do that. But anyway, you can see like how it changes the whole mood and everything to it. So glad that works now. Maybe I'll show this off. So, but yeah, a lot of things to tinker around with. I'm sure there's things that, by part 3 or 4, I would learn even more than this. So definitely a lot of big strides especially from my first couple of versions. Especially that live stream from January. That one was. It was good. I think I remodeled a lot of things, or like added new props like the lanterns, and then also worked on the lighting a lot to be able to get up to essentially just turning the light off. It's taking a lot of time, whole afternoons to figure out how to turn the lights off, or like make it like consistent, rather than what they expect you to use would be using these different lighting things. So, but yeah, I'll go to toast time. So, all right. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a good day. Stay safe. Welcome back. Okay. Close a couple things. Okay. Yeah. If I confused you, then I did something right. I know it's like that one shift into a whole nother dimension and just like completely alienates. That's excuse me. It's coming together. I'm really happy. But again, if I find more things, during development, it's like gonna be really fun as well. So I'm excited to keep working on it. I finished a big project recently, which will be yesterday. So I'll have slightly more time to work on this. So that's happy. Yay! It's not the big Folly one. It's another one. It's the Charmander commission. So I finished that. So yay! So Folly's coming along. Speaking of, we're just waiting on a couple more shots to get it a little bit cleaned up, and then we'll do probably another run-do of just watching it, and then because BabsCon is now officially canceled. Sad, but it's like, I'm like slightly guilty that it's like, yeah, that means we don't have a hard deadline to get this done, because we were gonna show off the Folly movie at BabsCon or premiere it, so we wanted to like make sure everybody had the deadline to get that done by April 10th. So now that it's canceled, it's like, well, now we don't have a hard, strict deadline on it, but but of course it'd be useful to get it done, and because we're virtually like 99.8% done with it. The rest of it would just be adding again those like 3 or 4 shots that need a couple more cleanup, maybe just any miscellaneous continuity things or other things that we can tweak up, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we kind of divided our team up a little bit weirdly, where we we have like these two sections to the movie. I'm calling it a movie. I don't know why. Got it in my mind. The Folly episode video thing is a thing, and it's about 27 minutes. So about half of that is the show style animation, which me and the team worked on. I'm really separating the other guy because he's working on a different style, a completely different art style to what I've been doing. So we're having him also edit it, which is a little bit weird. But I guess if there was no other hands to work on it, then I guess that's okay. But I've been working on the composing, getting all the shots in order, and just making sure we're not missing anything. So, but yeah, we actually animated 193 shots on that. So, trying to make sure that every one of those is picture perfect and frame perfect and whatever is what's been dividing my time up, to say the least. So, but yeah, because we're virtually done, we still got that a little bit, and then just got to plug that in into the big composition, and then the composition will be in Premiere. So just lining, putting in new files into Premiere and just changing the blocks up with the video clips, and then send it off to the editor, who is also / the editor animator, and then they'll add the supposedly I don't have a perfect word on that, but hopefully just round up the rest of the video of like audio editing and other video transitions or anything else they wanted to add. Not sure how much like regular video editing, like color correction or like trimming or adding special effects. I'm not sure what kind of special effects it would add, because most of the things that we did was essentially in camera with the animation. So because I know with the KP project, a different perspective, they had more of an editing team, or at least more focus on it to have more people on hand to edit that, as well as add special effects. So like there was an extra layer of lighting. It's like there was more lighting into things, which unlike my project, I'm trying to get rid of lighting. But with theirs, they were trying to add more lightings, like in the kitchen scenes in different perspective. The kitchen window would have some rays of sunlight shining in, and that would add some kind of image or be visible light coming in. So, but as far as ours is pretty, I guess I've been working on it for so long that it's like I'm used to how it looks, that if it add like an extra layer, I'm not sure what it would be at this point. But yeah, that's where we are. So hopefully we'll see where we are with the meeting this week, and then if we're done, then that'll be great. I'll have even more time to work on the movie. Yay! For live streams next week, what we should do? I'm not sure. So thankfully I have time to think about that, but I'm not sure right now at this moment what it would be. But yeah. Gonna drink some water while I think of anything else. I think that's about it. So how you guys doing? Trying to think of anything else. Because I'm actually running out of projects. Most of the projects I've been working on are basically ending, so we're just ramping up everything. Which it seems like we have to work more when things are ending. Like we have to work like double time to get everything ready to go. Or the deadline's close, so it's like, oh, we gotta work faster kind of a thing. But now we don't really have that hard of a deadline. If the convention's closed, so yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about it, and I guess Will is in my animation team with the Fly project. So anyway, I think it's about it with that. I guess with the release of part 2, I'm not sure. Part 2 of the movie, with the Derpy movie, I'm not sure, obviously because um, it's not at the phase where I can, uh, say like, oh, I only have X and X thing to do, and then I'll be done. This is like I have 30 to 50 X's to do, and I'm not sure how long any of those will take. So, but once I get like most of the core animation and get background ponies in, and get everything to a point where I can sit down and edit it, and such as again just composing it to put it into Premiere, and then line it up, and then figure out like from there, say like any kind of final tweaks to the animation, and then I do sound effects and music. With part one, I did, I think, well, I guess if we don't count, I did original music for the entire thing, if you don't want to count the intro, where the intro was just Super Mario World water music. But I changed most of the composition in some way. I changed the instruments and some of the timings and different things. So it is close. So, but it's MIDI and it sounds different in instrumentally different. So, but I did all the original music for the rest of the part one. So I think I'll continue with that. Now that I set up most of the musical motifs, where like Derpy has a theme song, different other environments or like different characters would have also different theme songs. Theme songs are like the motifs that I'm trying to say. So once I have this, these different motifs set up, in part one, then at any time I can like bring it back, and then it'll be easier for me to compose, so I'm not to break new music, as well as being, create some kind of emotion to you as well. So you can watch it and go, oh look, it's the Derpy theme at this critical point. Isn't that cool? Kind of a thing. So just music a little loud. Okay. Lowering the music. Lowering the volume a little bit. Okay. I think I made it loud enough that it wouldn't clip, but I guess that's probably like sort of the threshold that I should kind of hit. I do agree that I don't have the best volume mixing. Yeah. Because I'm more of a artsy guy, so to try to do anything with audio is definitely not my forte for that. So thank you for that. Then I think it was like -2 decibels was about my target, but I could probably go to -3 or 4, if that'll help. Yeah, obviously it's a play by ear, literally kind of situation. So, usually I have my headphones set at like 30 to 50%, while I edit it, and then I make everything mix to that. So if I have my headphones too low during that, then that'll definitely be a factor in that. So I could have, to prevent that, I think a plan would be to have my headphones louder and then mix to that to be like pretty loud, but not like overly loud would be probably the best thing. Obviously, also depend on you guys' hardware as well, what kind of setup you have, as well as how loud you're listening to it. So it's like, it's hard to say, like, essentially with that PS5 reveal thing too, is like the ear thing is like, no one's gonna have the same kind of exact setup, and no one's gonna listen at it at the same volume. So for one person to say like, oh, it's too loud, it's like, just lower it down on your end. It's hard to say like, oh, because I made it too loud, then everyone else who says it's fine is wrong. So yeah. Most sound editors work with high volumes actually. Okay. Work with a high volume. Okay. Yeah, I never really set my headphones or anything louder than like 50%. So I've always mixed it to that. So if that's off, in any high or low, then that'll definitely be something like that. No, I still didn't catch it to anything. And the top 10 is much louder. Also, my video. I know that's also a point, but yes, I also noticed that the because Little Shy had the top and bottom widescreen banners, it actually fit my my video was actually not cropped. So my video was probably the only one that wasn't cropped out of that because it already was widescreen, so all the top and bottom banners would be. They didn't do anything. Yeah. Okay, if you want to work with that to see if it was louder, probably go back to the original video, and see if it wasn't like an editing weird thing with, on the top 10 video. And I'm not saying like, oh, I did it perfect, but it's just like if it was different between the original, then you can look at a stat for nerds. I think, yeah, if you look at a video, right click on the video and then like stat for nerds, and it usually has like a volume setting. So it'll be something with that, where I've kind of used that a couple times to see like, oh, kind of set the benchmark, and most of them are like very close to like above or below like -1 to like +1 decibel. So I've been now trying to get it to like closer to that. So if that's too loud, then that'll be something to, I guess, look into more. Yeah. Ever worked or collaborated with Little Shy? No, but it recently, this is weird. He, what do you call it? Became a patron on my Patreon for like $1 a month. So thank you. Thank you, Little Shy. He also followed my Twitter recently. So that's as close as we got. We haven't actually talked or really communicated at all. I've definitely seen him at cons, but that's, that's not really a, whoa, that's a thing. It's like, there he is, way over there, kind of a situation. No, we haven't talked at all. I don't know if I would now. I think it's probably way past it. Definitely past the prime to be able to do anything like that. I don't know if he's, well, I guess he does the more live action pony things. So if you need an animation for that, then that'd be fun. It's never really combined live action with 2D animation, or even 3D for that matter. I think I've done only for like the April Fool's video that I've done, where I had like an actual paper derpy. And then I just green screened it on top of my flash. So that wasn't really like interacting or anything with that. Yeah, maybe it's something to look into as well, to do more of that. Let's see. Yeah, so we haven't really done anything. Even with the people that I've worked with, like on Folly, like even I guess I sort of worked with Crown Prince, a little bit, for like a month, maybe like a couple weeks. We're basically just being like business related of like, hello, Crown Prince, you have shots 5 to 15. Here you go. Here are the storyboards. If you need any questions, let me know. Kind of a business thing with that. So, yeah, not much really collaboration. I mean, I usually work alone anyway. I mean, it's not, unless like animators like come to my house and studio, it's like they're not gonna really collaborate with me in that regard either. But online, it's like that's really is really close as you really can get. At least with that. But yeah, I mean you can look at my channel as well to see like the other channels that I've worked with. On the little right side thing. I don't know what you call it, little panel tab thing. Channels that I worked on my main channel site there. I know a couple of them I haven't actually worked on any projects with them, but we talked about it a bunch. That's like, yeah, I can work on a thing for you, but then we never actually did, and then oh well. That was like 2014, so it's water under the bridge. It's okay. But yeah, Uh, yeah. The only other thing I'm thinking about now is that I like soft hiring myself onto Midnight Mares, but I think I probably want to make some bigger life decisions to figure out like if I should get an actual job. um, Cause I never really, I don't think I've ever really actually paid my taxes because I'm doing this as a hobby, so I don't actually have any kind of monetary thing to actually prove to the government that I'm doing more than a hobby. So, probably want to fix that. Um, that got real. But yeah. So if that like clashes with the Midnight Mirror thing, I might have to cancel on that. Which honestly, I'm not sure if that's gonna be, you know, it'd be fun. But if Gan, the director, is super animate about me, uh, being like perfect drawing skill to duo cartoonist. Um, Duo cartoonist animated the first couple trailers, so they worked on it for like several months. um, and they use like different tools like Toon Boom and probably like same kind of After Effects like lighting things I was talking about earlier, where it added like extra filters to make it look cooler. Um, so I don't have access to any of that. So I have Flash as well as After Effects, but I'm not that skilled enough to like um, figure out how to do those kind of special lighting things or like any kind of special effects that I'm talking about. So um, if I'm not able to like make it match to like the if it's a pilot that Gan wants, where the pilot is like 20 minutes long, and it uses splicing in between like trailer bits that Duo made, where it'll be like a duo shot and then me shot and then a duo shot. It'd be like, huh, something changed in the middle kind of a thing. So I don't think anyone's really gonna make it exactly. So like duo set the bar a little bit too high. That'd be like that's probably what doomed him in the first place. At least in that regard, with it, especially with the animation, it just seemed like you made it too good that now that duo's gone. It's like how you get to pick this back up if you want it to look the same exact way. Um, so no one's really going to be able to do it exactly with that. Even like using puppets, which Duo used, I believe, it didn't seem like it was hand drawn. Because that would be easier. It was just like puppets in Toon Boom, which have different properties than puppets in Flash. But Flash and Toon Boom are getting a little bit closer every other year. But that's what I was saying. Like with the Animate now has the parenting system, which I've been using in most of my newer cartoons, which I've explained too many times. So yeah, that's about where I am right now. I'm trying to figure out if I should get a job or try to see if I can work with Midnight Mirrors. Which again might be considered a hobby if that's not really paying salary living wages. Because I sort of agreed to like $15 an hour, so that's probably not enough. Probably shortchanging that way too low. But if I don't do the right product, then I'll definitely be fired real quick. But yeah. But anyway, I think it's about it. If you guys are still here, thank you. I know you've been watching this a little toaster time for a while. If you're new, so welcome. I do it's a little bit dry. Let me get a little bit more water as I okay. Yep. Okay, I think that's about it. Yeah, we'll see what to do next time. Yeah, I don't have anything really planned. Anything I can think of off the top of my head right now. Ooh, I thought of something. Let's do that. Ooh, I'm gonna keep it a secret. Ooh. That'll be fun. Ooh. That will take a lot of preparation, probably take like 2 months. But anyway, that sounds like fun. Ooh. That'll be fun. Okay, I'm excited now. we'll see if that works. Probably gonna take a lot of doing, but anyway, okay. I'm excited for that. Let's see. Okay, wait a secret. Okay. Button. Let's see if I remember it for next time as well. Okay. Okay, I got the button. Okay. Yeah, so, excuse me. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you had fun with this. If you didn't understand something, then I did something right, so, watch it again, maybe in slow motion or something. A lot of small text, maybe watching on a bigger screen. If you're watching on mobile, definitely get a bigger screen to watch it. A lot of the text is very small. But yeah, I think that'll be it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time when I do something. Bye bye. Take care.